That's just me. Kind of what I do here. I am going to just go ahead and move what I need to over. I'm slack-lacking. Like welcome to my room. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it was the last minute realization that it was 4 o'clock. So there we go. We are going to see if we can get this on here. Keep on talking. We'll rotate the camera, and here's what we're gonna do. Camera's rotated. Sorry you guys are watching all of this prep. But sometimes that's what happens when we don't realize what we're doing. Okay. Hello, hello. There we go. I'll eventually get the hang of this, okay? Eventually. I will not be a hot mess. Maybe. Maybe. So, we have some fun things in the background there. We're going to get this all situated. I guess I could have technically done this before going live. But I was more interested in not forgetting to go live. So, oh my gosh, Molly looks horrible. Okay. Hello, hello. Okay, we are going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the half double crochet today for our beginner little lesson here. Okay. Do not mind any of the things in the background. Oh, that was a quick jump. Okay. So, of course, we have to start with our half double crochet. Our half double crochet. That's what we're working on today. I am working with 100% cotton just because that's what's closest to me. We are going to start, of course, with our slip knot. Okay. Everyone does that a little bit different. So do it what is the best way for you. And we'll go from there. So again, here's the way I do mine. And we wrap it, twist, grab it, and pull. Okay. So once we have our slip knot, we are going to chain 15 just to give us some space to do a swatch. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now we have our chain of 15. See the pretty little V's or what looks like a braid on one side and our third loop on the back side. So now to do a half double crochet, we are going to yarn over first. So yarn over, and then in the second chain from the hook, so I'm going to show you what that is going to look like. So that's the first chain right here. This right here is the second chain from the hook. So you're going to yarn over, go into the second chain from the hook, and then draw up a loop so that you have 3 on your hook there. And then we are going to yarn over and pull through all 3. That is our half double crochet. And then you'll continue that. Now you don't skip. The only reason you skip and go to the second chain from the hook when you initiate this is that just helps give you some space to kind of what I call level up. Okay. So now when you go down your row, you're going to continue going down the row into the very next stitch. So that's the stitch we worked in right there. The very next stitch is right there. So we're going to yarn over, go into the very next stitch. And we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 on your loop or hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. So now there's the second one. We're going to do it again. Yarn over, go into the very next stitch. Yarn over, draw up a loop. There's 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so we're just going to keep on going. Oops, yarn over, go into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, go into the very next stitch. Yarn over, pull through all 3. So when you go and if you're not sure where your next stitch is, especially off the chain, it's a little bit easier once we go up a row, and I'll show you that. But especially off the chain, if you're not sure, when you tug on your hook here, see how that pulls up right there? That's the stitch you were just in. So that's where you made your last stitch. It's right there. So you want to go into that loop. You don't want to go in there. You want to follow this arm here and see where it connects elbows with. See how that's like, kind of reminds me of 2 people joined at the elbow right there. So we're not going to go in this one. We're going to go into the next one. Sorry, that got a little fuzzy. There we go. And now there's 3 on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. I'm just going to keep on going to the next one. So one of the things that people often forget, especially when they're transitioning from the single crochet to the half double, is to yarn over first. So always make sure you yarn over. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. And there's 3. If you don't have 3 on your loop when you yarn over and pull through, then you did not yarn over before you went in and drew up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Yarn over into the next stitch. Oops. I'm just going to keep going. We're almost to the end. I'm going to show you the end. Hello, hello. Ouch. Okay, so now we're at the last stitch. I just noticed too that if anyone is trying to say anything to you, you're not going to message unless you are someone that is a subscriber. So my apologies. I will fix that for the next one. But please do subscribe if you'd like to learn to crochet. Beyond these basic stitches, we're going to get into some other things as well. We also do a stitch fix every other week, focusing on a more intermediate stitch. So now this is the last stitch right there. See, here's your knot. There's a stitch right there. So we're going to yarn over and go into that last stitch. Drop a loop. There's 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 3. Now, some people, when they're going up from a half double crochet, will chain 2. I do not. I do not like the look of that. I think it gets too puffy. So I chain 1 and then turn. Okay. And now, so that is what it looks like. The half double crochet has this extra little fun loop on the back end there. But if you flip this way to the top, you can see all the V's that again look like a nice little braid, right? So when you do your stitches now, instead of just having one loop that you go through, there's going to be that whole V that you go through to go through the stitch, okay? So now we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the very first stitch. So it's the last stitch you made, but not that chain. Into that entire stitch. So there's the V right there. Yarn over and pull through. There's your 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, go into the next stitch. So you can see the V right there. You're going to yarn over, pull through that V. Draw up, and there's your 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay? The number one thing I see with beginners when they start doing the half double crochet is that they forget to yarn over. I said that once already. Say that again. Another thing that I often see is that the transition from working from the chain to working into the stitch, people will often forget and just get one loop instead of the entire stitch. So make sure you go through the entire stitch. The reason why that is important is because when you go through, I'll show you, when you go through just the front, I'll do 2 stitches where you go through just the front. So you can see on the other side what happens. And then I'm going to do 2 stitches where I accidentally just go through the back. Okay? So you can see, again, what happens. So you can see right here a little bit. The 2 that I went through just the back, you can see this drape right here, right? And that's very different than over here. If you turn this around, that drapes right there. So typically, if you do only the front loop or only the back loop, it's more for either decorative purposes or if you're going to be attaching or crocheting something onto the piece later. So like I've seen that happen before where like a body part is going to go, or let's say you're doing a doll or something that has a skirt on. Maybe you would do that crochet in the back loop only and leave the front loop there so that when you do the skirt, you can just attach it straight to that front loop, and it's nice and simple. So now this is the last stitch of a row. See how it looks a little bit funny, right? But you can tell that you need to do something else there, right? So that's the last stitch. You're going to yarn over, go into the last stitch. Make sure you have both loop or both parts of the stitch. Drop a loop, yarn over, and pull through. So there you go. We'll just keep on doing that. Chain 1 and turn. Then you yarn over, go into the stitch, the very first one, the last stitch you made, not the chain. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, go into the stitch. There we go. Hello there. I would really love it that if you enjoy the crochet, the little lesson we have going on, that you hit that like button. And if you're interested in learning more crochet, that you subscribe. We have every Tuesday a beginner basics lesson. And then every other Thursday, we do a stitch fix where we learn a little more intermediate intermediate stitch. And so there is that. So be sure to like and subscribe. See how I like the chain one turn because it makes it a little more even edge. So I enjoy that. To me, doing a chain two when you turn is a little too bulky, but if you crochet very tight, chain two might be required. So there you have the half double crochet. One of the biggest things in learning each stitch is basically just remembering the procedure. Okay. So for the half double crochet, it's yarning over first, go into your stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then there's 3 on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So remembering the steps is the important part. Well, be sure to like and subscribe and tune in on Tuesdays for our beginner basics and every other Thursday for our intermediate stitch fix. And I hope you have a blessed day. Okay, Gracie.